Cubs are ready to win you on cable television's WGN. Be a part of the great tradition are the Cubs. The ivy-covered walls, Harry's famous seventh-inning stretch, Golden's seventh-inning stretch, Golden Glove fielding, hard hitting. Enjoy all the sun-drenched days and star-studded nights. 150 games of family fun as the Cubs head for home. Your home on people-pleasing WGN.
Celebrate America's entertainment choice. April is National Cable Month. 30 days of great nights.
Financial News Network is television you can profit from. On April 11th, tune into a special on investing in the 90s. From stocks and bonds to real estate, art, collectibles, and more, learn how you can invest now to secure your financial future. Make the most of your money with FNN, the Financial News Network.
April is National Cable Month. 30 days of great nights.
But this carburetor at Track Auto because they're known for having the lowest prices. Now, 69,000 miles later, Larry and I are about to test Track Auto 7-year, 70,000-mile auto parts warranty. Get a shot of that sign. Yo, got a problem here.
Well, we'll be glad to give you a new one, but are you sure there's any gas in the car?
Gas in the car? Larry, is there any gas in the car?
If you need it, Track's got it.
Larry is a doorknob.
Track Auto.
This year, my son and I took some time to photograph the beauty of nature. Then, naturally, we looked for the Kodak Color Watch seal. The Color Watch seal means the Kodak system checks the developing for great color. But our father and son see things differently. This is my idea of natural beauty, and this is his. The Kodak Color Watch system. You're going to thank me for it. He's single, see? And
stop by any People's Drugstore for the quality film developing your prints deserve.
Hi, I'm Frank Merklin. I've been a roofing specialist with Sears for over 17 years. We at Sears offer a full line of quality roofing materials, professional installation, and meaningful 20 to 30-year warranties. People have trusted Sears for more than 100 years. We'll be here next week, next month, next year. You can count on us. So give us a call today.
There's a view of the White House in downtown Washington, D.C. Here in the house of the Capitals built. A scoreless first period between the visiting Philadelphia Flyers and the Washington Capitals. This is Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Playoffs Patrick Division semifinal series. Caps leading the series by a score of 1-0. A fast-paced scoreless period. And after 20 minutes, we are scoreless here at the Capitol Center. Welcome back. I'm Jeff Rimmer, and our first intermission, somewhat of a treat for you. We here at Home Team Sports, very proud to bring you two events simultaneously on our regular HTS channel. Many viewers watching the Orioles' second game of the season, our season opener, as far as Oriole telecasts are concerned. It's the Red Sox with Mike Boddicker on the mound against the Orioles. And, of course, the Orioles are going with Jose Bautista. Let's go north to John Lowenstein and Bob Rathman.
Well, thank you, Jeff, and welcome to Memorial Stadium, everybody. Those of you enjoying Caps hockey on this Home Team Sports doubleheader Thursday night. Here we've got a 3-3 game. The Boston Red Sox scored 3 in the top of the first against J.J. Bautista, and the Orioles came right back. A big single that produced 2 runs by Larry Sheets, and Mickey Pendleton getting an RBI and a ground out to tie this one. Now Bautista settling down somewhat. He got Gedman. Now Reed trickles one through the diamond. Dick Breach with a hit and move over to first by Bautista. Boggs, the hitter, he grounded to the first baseman Traber, his first time up.
I understand another close contest in the works at the Cap Center, 0-0 between the Flyers and Caps for 1 period.
Here's a bunt by Boggs. It's fouled at third base.
Well, I cannot recall having seen Boggs bunt within the last couple of years. Maybe it's just that he hasn't bunted against this ball club, but that's not something that I would think he would ordinarily do because as well as he swings the bat. But Worthington was playing exceptionally deep at third base.
Craig now is in just a step off the edge of the grass.
When you're the only player in this century to collect 200-plus hits over the last 6 years, you've done something.
And I have no doubts that he'll make it 7.
6 straight years, 200-plus hits. Extraordinary.
Boggs fought a sore right hamstring in training camp. He missed 6 exhibition games at the end of March. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I don't think there's really any set pattern, any way that you can really pitch Boggs successfully. Well, there can't be. If somebody's going to hit 350, 360 every year, you're going to have to manufacture something.
Nothing in the works for the Red Sox. Reed anchored at first. 2 balls and a strike. Marty Barrett is the on-deck hitter. We're just in the top of the second, and if you're just joining us tonight, you've already missed a bunch. 3 runs aside and 7 hits in the game. And that ball gets away from Traver, trickling into right field, and Reed will move up to second base.
That ball bounced up and hit umpire Steve Palermo. Otherwise, that might have gone down the line a little further, and Reed is as much speed as he can generate, might have gotten an opportunity to go down to third base.
An error has been charged to the pitcher, Jose Bautista. So now the Red Sox have the potential lead run in scoring position. And a 1 ball, a 2 ball, 1 strike count on Wade Boggs. This Red Sox team has had great success against the Orioles over the last 4 or 5 years. Here's a pitch that's in the dirt, and it's 3-1. One of 3 teams, the Yankees and the Indians being the other 2, with an all-time winning record against the Orioles. In fact, in their last 53 games here at the stadium, the Red Sox have won 38, bidding to take the lead back. And Boggs draws a walk, his second of the season.
Well, he is so adept at taking borderline balls or strikes as they may be. So consequently, he's going to be around that 100 walk mark just about every year.
The second free pass issued by Bautista. Runners at first and second, and Marty Barrett is coming up. Barrett looking for his first hit in this series. And you mentioned Wade Boggs, but also this young man, Marty Barrett. They just don't strike out. Great contact hitters.
Strikeout to at-bats ratio is very, very low.
I think Barrett's like 1 strikeout for every 20 at-bats. 1-0.
Both these guys have exceptional eyes. I know Boggs has walked over 100 times this last 3 years, and Barrett is going to make you utilize every pitch in your arsenal to get him out. And the fact that he goes to right field as well as he does to left or center bodes in his favor.
Hit on the ground to third, Worthinger. The second for 1 to first, double play. So J.J. Bautista and the Orioles get out of a trouble spot in the second, and the game remains tied at 3. No runs, a hit, an error, and 1 man left. And it's a 3-3 game, and right now, for you hockey fans, we'll return you to the Cap Center. Second period action upcoming.
Thanks again, Bob Rathman and John Lowenstein. Remember, Washington Capitals hockey certainly will be seen many times during these telecasts over the next several weeks. Home Team Sports hopes that the Capitals go all the way to the finals, but as well, 90 Oriole games will be seen throughout the course of the season right here on Home Team Sports, the channel you cheer for. The Washington Capitals, the Philadelphia Flyers are scoreless here after 20 minutes of play. Excellent first period. Stay tuned. Lots more action to come with your play-by-play crew of Al Koken and Mike Thorne. Stay tuned.
I know Merchants Tire and Auto Centers have all the famous brand tires at guaranteed lowest prices, but I didn't know they do repairs, too. Everything from oil changes to tune-ups and brakes. And best of all, Merchants treats my car like it's their own. And only Merchants has these written guarantees. So I guess I go to Merchants because I trust them.
Service that you trust, guaranteed.
Merchants Tire and Auto Centers.
In the Tidewater area, you know the Henry Johnson Tire and Auto Centers.
And in Durham, you know the Rigsby Tire and Auto Centers.
Well, they're all part of the Merchants Group,
where you can get service that you trust, guaranteed.
Kurt Russell is an outsider. They don't like outsiders. especially when they fall in love with their women. Kurt Russell, Kelly McGillis, Winter People, rated PG-13, starts Friday at select theaters.
TWA kept something in mind when we made our business class seat one of the widest in the sky. People sometimes cross their legs. Today's TWA. Find out how good we really are.
After all those meetings in Minneapolis and conventions in Kansas City, we think you could use a little change of pace. And after 40,000 miles in TWA's frequent flyer program, that's just what you get. Today's TWA. Find out how good we really are.
When a shark gets hungry, he looks for something he can sink his teeth into. Something meaty, something filling, something red. And when he finds it, he tears into it.
Chunky's new Easy Open can lets you tear into those delicious clams and tender potatoes in chunky New England clam chowder fast. So get plenty, because you never know. Campbell's Chunky. It takes care of the meanest appetites.
Michael Pavanka, Washington Capitals. Hip check.
Oh, yeah.
George & Company, Big and Tall Men's Shops. The best fit. Washington Capitals game coverage on Home Team Sports is brought to you by Hardee's. We're out to win you over. And by Safeway, where you'll find the best selection of produce in town. Come see the difference. And by your nearby Sears Home Improvement Professionals, the most trusted name around the house. Scoreless battle so far after one period of play here at a sold-out Capitol Center in Game 2 of the Patrick Division semifinals. Mike Fornes and Al Koken welcoming you back once again to our live exclusive broadcast tonight here on Home Team Sports. How do you size up that period? Was there any winner, even though there's nothing on the scoreboard?
I think you hit the key word, size. The size of the defensemen that are playing in this hockey game made sure that there weren't a lot of good scoring chances. Yes, the other key, too, is the Capitals' failure again to work something on the power play. Even having a two-man advantage for 25 seconds, still couldn't get anything done. They had their power play chances.
Let's take a look at our TWA shot chart. First of all, for the Washington Capitals, 6 shots, but no goals scored. Shots looked like they were from the right places.
Well, Cicerelli got a couple in there. The one deflection in there from Hunter came in very, very late as Hextall was clearing the puck and then had to scramble back into the net. But again, we're talking about shots that really aren't anything in terms of rebounds and real great second chances. When you get those second chances, then you know you're doing the job past the defense. If you're getting one shot in there and it's being cleared out or the goaltender's allowed to reach out and grab that rebound, that's all the credit to the defense.
Last night you talked about Ron Hextall playing with the puck and the Capitals trying to make him use his stick a certain way, not allow him to make plays in other fashion. Did Ron Hextall kind of take advantage? Was he more in control tonight than he was last night during the first period tonight?
You know, it looked like it early, but then as the period went on, after a couple really good clears by Hextall, as the Flyers kept playing the puck back to him, all of a sudden I think Hextall started to get a little cocky and did a little too much with it and almost burned him, as we told you, with the Hunter chance, and then Courtnall picking off another pass, sending in front, bouncing off a couple of skates, and Hextall freezing again for the faceoff. So, again, I'm sure the Capitals wouldn't mind if Hextall has to handle the puck under hurried conditions. If he's got time, he won't make that much of a mistake. But if you're rushing him, if you're putting a little pressure on him and spreading the other guys out along the boards to pick off those clearing passes, you may turn something on him and really change this game up totally.
As we look now at the Flyers shot chart, I think you'll agree Philadelphia's shots appear to be from different places than Washington. Certainly no concentration from right in front of that net.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, the Flyers were able to get a couple decent chances in there. The backhand attempt by Sutter proved to be Pete Peters' biggest save. But again, a lot of credit to the Capitals defense, much in the fashion the Flyer defense played it. No second chances, not a lot of camping in front, not a lot of screens in front. It was great hand-to-hand combat in front of the net, along the boards and in the corners.
Let's check in downstairs now. Both teams are taking to the ice surface. Here's Jeff Rimmer.
Thanks, Mike. Update on that score between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Rangers in Pittsburgh. It looks like the Penguins may go up 2-0. They lead now 5-2. 5 goals for the explosive Pittsburgh Penguins. And at last count, we had 4 of the goal scorers. And I believe Lemieux did not have any of those goals. So all kinds of people contributing to the Penguins' victory last night and again tonight. But big number 66, Mario Lemieux, not there. But certainly the big story, the side story to all this, is the fact that Phil Esposito has chosen to go behind the bench, and for the 4th straight time, he's still looking for win number 1. He stuck his neck out. Already the rumors are rampant in and around New York that John Davidson, who's currently working alongside Sam Rosen, the former guy that worked alongside Sam, was Phil Esposito, and now they're talking about John Davidson maybe stepping up and being the next general manager in New York. Be another opening there, and maybe the next general manager might step in and work alongside Sam Rosen. Who could that be? Sure, many people would like that job. Let's go back upstairs now. 3rd period about to begin, and once again, Mike Fornes and Al Koken.
Boy, that Jeff Rimmer, he's not only got the player scoops and the general manager scoops, but he keeps us on top of the broadcasting scoops as well. Now, what do you think? You want to be a GM someday? That's where they're coming from. They're coming from color position.
Well, what was the great line late in the season? We were talking to somebody about, asked one of the players what he'd like to do when he retires. He said, "Well, I want to be a coach." I said, "Well, why a coach?" He said, "Because it's the fastest way to get on TV and be a color man." So maybe that's the best way. If he wants to be a GM, you become a coach, become a color man, and then get to the front office. This time the Philadelphia Flyers doing a better job on the faceoff department than they did last night. But those penalty minutes and the power play is a real key to this game. Philadelphia has to feel pretty confident. They've killed off the Capitals so successfully, giving Washington 3 power plays, and the Capitals with a total of 6 shots on goal for the period.
We're underway with period 2. Tocchet throws it rink wide, and here's Sheehy back into his own end. Now drops it back for Langway, and he clears it off the boards and sends it all the way down the ice. Extall fires it up the boards. Hartner takes charge now and gets it out to neutral ice. Taken there by Michael Pavanka. Rink wide, and Berube hung up by Bobby Gould. The puck cleared across the line. Now Sheehy nose to nose with Tocchet right at center ice. And Gerard Gauthier gets in there to make sure they stay apart.
Sheehy has been nose to nose with a lot of opponents over the final month of the season. With all that ice time, the confidence is there, and then it's coming out in his physical play as well. Moving the puck nicely, working in a nice tandem with Rod Langway. And the more involved Sheehy is in the game, the more physical I think his game becomes. And he's also becoming quite a policeman back there, really stepping in there. And where everybody used to go at Scott Stevens and Kevin Hatch to try and get them off the ice, Neil Sheehy sticking his nose in there provides another factor for the opposition to think about.
Flyers take the draw, and Mark Howe starts out to center. Throws it across the line, back inside the Washington zone. Stevens gets a piece of it as he swings at the puck, and now Dave Christian sends it out of the zone. All the way back into Philadelphia ice. Mark Howe behind the net, rushed by Ciccarelli. The puck drawn back to Eklund in the corner. He leaves it for Samuelson. He's hit by Ciccarelli, and the Caps keep the pressure on. Now up the sideboards, Tim Kerr is unable to push it away from Stevens. John Druce back to Ciccarelli. Dino Ciccarelli turns and is held by Eklund. The puck loose in front of the net. Druce can't get to it, and Kerr sends it outside the line. Tim Kerr dumps it back in the Washington zone. Here's Scott Stevens behind the net. Leads it out to Dave Christian. Christian fires it in from the red line. Samuelson to the corner, up the right wing board. We have a penalty call coming up. High sticking is the call, and it appears as though John Druce has been high sticked by Shell Samuelson, and he gives the big who me.
And Rob Schick is looking over John Druce to see if Druce is injured to give a 5-minute. It's just going to be a 2-minute call for high sticking. Caps power play when we return.
What's the difference between a fresh biscuit and Hardee's biscuit made fresh from scratch? This should give you some idea.
All players.
Right.
Hardee's Rise and Shine biscuits, made fresh from scratch because we're out to win you over.
The penalty is to Samuelson. High sticking the call at 1:31. It's a 2-minute minor. John Druce not injured. You see John Druce coming in using that stick a little bit to try and deter Samuelson, giving him a shot from behind, and Samuelson responds with that stick up to the neck and face of John Druce. That's the call for high stick.
Mark Howe grabbed right at center ice by Hunter. Flyers across the line. Howe rushes in, fires, but it's sticked wide by Peters. Here comes Kalle Johansson with the puck. Brings it ahead to center ice. Courtnall from the red line. Wines fires wide. Howe in the corner, chops it up the boards, but Pop tries to get it. It's cleared to the point. Kept in by Hatcher, a slap shot, and a pad save. A rebound knocked off Hunter's stick. Poulin on the comeback for Philadelphia. On his backhand, lobs it up high toward the top corner of the net, and Pete Peters makes the glove save. Peters has won the last 4 games he has played against the Flyers in the playoffs, and that goes all the way back to last year.
They're showing some great quickness with the glove over the last couple of games. Capitals, though, with a scoring chance of their own as Hatcher wound up that drive, that rebound sent right out up the slot. And Dale Hunter there had to shift around with on his backhand and couldn't get that shot away, couldn't control the puck. And those are the type of chances the Capitals are going to have to start turning back at Ron Hextall. Even if they don't score, they've got to start getting those second chances, put extra pressure on them. And if it forces Hextall to start flopping around and scramble around a little bit, that's an area they may be able to take advantage. 1:22 left in the Samuelson high sticking call.
Here comes Bob Rouse to center. Flips it back inside the Philadelphia zone, and Gord Murphy behind the net. Flips it end over end all the way back into the Washington zone, and Peters waits on it in the corner. Just slows it down enough for Scott Stevens to bring it out.
Caps are doing a pretty good job with their dumps of keeping it away from Hextall, but the Flyer defensemen are getting to it.
Here's Christian on the right wing, centers, and it goes through several players to the point. Now Stevens a shot, deflected on goal. Hextall makes the save. Dave Christian went hard on that right wing side and threw a centering pass out front that got through an army of players before Stevens was able to uncork a shot from the point.
Well, you see the Christian play, how many people it walks through the legs of 3 players. Now, Scott Stevens does a smart thing. He takes his time here, waits for traffic to develop again. Thanks to Kelly Miller, that deflection is put on Hextall off the stick of Kelly Miller, and Ron Hextall makes a fine save. If Scott Stevens fires that puck as soon as he gets it, it's not a good a scoring chance the Capitals come away with. By holding on to it for the right moment and to make sure he then had that traffic in front, that little screen to work with, and a guy to make a deflection, the Capitals tested Ron Hextall for the first real time on this power play. .45 seconds left in the call to Samuelson. Hunter for this face-off against Ron Sutter.
Ciccarelli and Chychrun start to push and shove on the side of the face-off circle, and as a result, Rob Schick blew the whistle even though the puck had dropped. They'll do it again in hopes of getting it dropped fairly without any company in there for the centers. Draw comes back, and Hextall up the boards and outside the line. Sutter chases it all the way back into his own end. Scott Stevens whips the pass over to Kevin Hatcher. He's across the blue line inside the Flyer zone. Puts it behind the net. Courtnall in to dig it out. He centers just off the stick of Ciccarelli. Back come the Flyers on the attack. Up to center ice is Acton. He's knocked down by Kevin Hatcher. Sutter centering for Howe. Back to the point. Here's Acton giving it another try. This time in the corner, Ron Sutter goes to get it. He's double-teamed by Hatcher and Stevens. A shot on net. Peters the save. Rebound off the skates of Hunter. Now thrown to the side of the Washington goal. Here's Scott Stevens to come out. Long right wing pass into Ciccarelli's skates. Flyers changing the lines. Hunter takes a run at Tocchet and misses. Props to Tocchet. Fires up high off the glass. Now Courtnall. at the blue line. Taken away by Tockett. This shot hits Stevens, goes wide to the corner. Now Kelly Eklund centers it. Tockett just missed a chance to convert that pass. Out comes Dino on the right wing. Cicerelli to the blue line. Inside the Flyers zone on his backhand. Trying to get around Eklund. Fires a shot. And Hextall makes the save. Langway charges in from the left point to keep it inside the Flyers zone. But now it's cleared by Jay Wells all the way back into the Washington end. Sheehy back for it. No icing. Sheehy gets chased by Tockett. Held up on the play. Langway moves to the corner, but Tockett takes over. Rick Tockett back to the point. Shot by Gord Murphy. Misses the net wide. Tockett to the corner. Gives the stick on the back of Mike Ridley. The puck comes to Poulin. Poulin behind the goal. Now it's centered. Peters with a save. And Sheehy grabs the rebound after Pete Peters stopped that opportunity in front. Back comes Kelly Miller for Washington. Up to the Flyer line. Miller a drop pass for Courtnall. Fans on his shot. Chases it to the corner. He centers, but Wells steals and moves it to Secourt. Who has not been out there, I don't believe, yet in this period until now. Now here's Poulin across the line. Poulin right in front for Secourt. Blocked by Johansson. Peters sliding across to make a save. Pavanka skating ahead on the left wing. Tucked in. Fired. Hextall makes the save. Behind the net is Al Secourt for Philadelphia. Michael Pavanka plays it up the board. Bob Rouse keeps it in. Off a skate, it just goes wide. It hit Partner and changed direction. Here's Johansson back into his own end. Peters sets him up. Secourt in to throw a hit. Rouse comes out. 4-on-3 Washington attack. 3-on-2. Wickenheiser to the blue line. Drop pass for Pavanka. His shot goes wide, and Wickenheiser back of the net. In front, and Pavanka held on the play by Secourt. The loose puck cleared to the corner. We've got a penalty call coming up as Wickenheiser is dumped. A delayed call against Philadelphia. Cross-checking will put Washington on the power play. Time of the penalty, 5:56 of the second period. It's against Jeff Chychrun of the Flyers.
Well, now there are 4 great places to go to cheer the Caps on to the Stanley Cup. Here at the Capitol Center and all 3 Joe Theismann's restaurant locations. They're in Vienna, Bailey's Crossroads, and Old Town Alexandria. What could be better than enjoying fine American food in a relaxing, friendly atmosphere and watching the Caps game? Joe Theismann's Restaurant, where good friends meet great food.
Chychrun in the box for the second time in this game, and for the second time for a cross-checking call.
Well, the Caps have got the pressure on, the scrambling going on, and you see Chychrun decking Wickenheiser there, and that's what's going to get the call. But once again, the Capitals have got to do something with these opportunities. The Flyers potentially digging themselves a hole with all these penalties, but the Capitals not shoveling any dirt on top of them.
The draw goes to the corner. Here's Howe. Sends it up the board. Ron Sutter sprints to center ice. He's got a lead on Johansson. Cuts in around him and bowls over Peters. The puck goes wide of the net. Back to Samuelson at the point. His shot blocked by Mike Ridley. Ridley chases it out to center ice, but the play has been called. It's an interference penalty coming.
This should be on Kevin Hatcher.
It'll take away Washington's power play advantage. In the long term, 18 seconds will show up there on the clock when the Flyer penalty ends, and they'll have a man advantage for that amount of time.
You know, it's not just the Capitals' inability to get some extended pressure going, but I tell you, the way the Flyers have come busting out in these shorthanded situations, they've really been forcing Pete Peters to come up with big saves, and now they force Kevin Hatcher into an interference call with Poulin steaming up to try and join the rush of Ron Sutter. You see what happens. Hatcher is coming to the left of your screen there along with Poulin. Johansson is back there with Sutter. And you see as Poulin is taken out of the play by Kevin Hatcher. That gets the attention of Rob Schick. And now we're back to 4-on-4 hockey for the next 1:42.
Draw comes back inside the Philadelphia zone. Mark Howe back to get it. 4-on-4 hockey here for 1 minute 30 seconds. Here's Propp to the line. Checked by Scott Stevens, but Howe breaks in, but he's offside. Bullard was already inside the zone on the left wing.
Mike Bullard really did a pretty nice job against the Capitals in 7 regular season games, a point per game with 3 goals and 4 assists. Quite a productive player since coming over to the Philadelphia Flyers in that trade. 22 goals, 24 assists in 51 games at Philadelphia.
Scott Stevens out at center ice. He goes right side for Dave Christian across the blue line. Fake it. Christian coming on, a shot, and a save by Hextall. Big save by Ron Hextall to stop that short-sided attempt by Dave Christian. Now the puck shot up into the crowd for a souvenir.
Christian really working hard to get that shot. Thing that's got to frustrate the Capitals, that rebound was right there. Dino Ciccarelli couldn't get to it. The man who gobbles up rebounds for a living. Watch the way Christian makes the move around Howe and gets the good hard shot. Look where that rebound comes out. That is dead meat. But instead, it's Samuelson who beats Ciccarelli to it. Dino Ciccarelli had a couple chances last night. One good one on a tuck-in attempt that could put it through. And a couple of chances tonight. Real clear, great scoring chances in terms of shots on goal, but loose puck right there, bouncing off his stick, over his stick, just slightly out of his reach. It's going to come soon.
Here's Murphy throwing it into the corner. Rod Langway has it behind the net. Ron Sutter comes up with the puck. Sutter passing right in front. Pocket fires wide. Still 4-on-4 hockey. At the point, Sutter tries to keep it in, but Kelly Miller breaks it up. Here comes Miller, 2-on-2. Miller reaching on the right wing. Walks in, fires. Save made. There's a penalty call coming. It's against Philadelphia, I believe. High sticking is the call as Ridley was taken down in front of the net. And this is going to give Washington a man advantage. High sticking is the call at 7:30 of the second period. Jay Wells is headed to the penalty box. Now here's Jeff Rimmer.
Thanks, Mike. They're still in the first period in Pittsburgh. The Penguins well in front of the New York Rangers, in danger of going down 2-0. Hartford and Montreal are scoreless at the Forum. It's Buffalo ahead of Boston. They shut out the Bruins last night. Chicago and Detroit tied in the first period. Minnesota ahead of St. Louis. If a 5th game is necessary here next Tuesday night, we'll have it live and exclusively for you on Home Team Sports. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Now we're in a curious situation, 4-on-3 hockey. You've got 26 seconds left in the Chychrun call. The full 2 minutes now to Wells. 44 seconds left in the Hatcher call. With Kelly Miller getting around, they say that the stick of Wells got up around the face. It did for a second, but like one of those kind of penalties, it certainly could have been let go. Again, in the last 2 shifts, notice how the Capitals using that outside speed. Wells once, they got around to Chychrun the other time. In a situation where they're really putting a little pressure now on that Flyer defense and getting around them to the outside.
Used to think Mike Gartner was one of the only players in the team that had that ability. The Caps aren't faring too badly in that regard in his absence. And some of the bursts we've seen here right in this period. Here comes Johansson to center ice. Gets across the blue line. Hunter reaches for it with his skate. Can't stop it. Back come the Flyers. Oh, a hit by Johansson. Here comes Hunter. A break down the right wing. Hunter, a slap shot. Just wide of the net. Up come the Flyers. Penalty's over now. Chychrun's back on the ice. Heads to the bench. Is replaced. And there are 4 Flyers skaters out there. The penalty expires to Hatcher. Washington has a power play for 1:10. Hunter to Ciccarelli. And the puck cleared all the way down the ice. Full minute of power play time left for the Washington Capitals here. 11:25 to go in the second period. Still no score. Here comes Christian across the blue line. Off the skates of Propp. Into the corner. Ridley goes after it. Cartner plays it up the boards. Dave Christian works a three on the right wing side. Now Cartner has it behind the net. Puts it in the air and it goes all the way down. Bob Rouse starts the rush. 20 seconds to go on the power play for Washington. Hextall trying to do the clearing on his own and gets the job done all the way out to center ice. Here's a 2-on-1 out of it because of that pass. It comes over to Derek Smith. He fires! And Peters scrambles across the goal mouth to make the save. Dynamite reactions by Pete Peters keep this game at 0-0.
I tell you, this is one of the best saves I've ever seen Pete Peters make. Look how quickly he's got to get over, how much room he has to cover. And that is a bullet right on net in a perfect spot off the ice. And what a great play by Hextall. He gets it up to Eklund, and Eklund makes the right move. He gets Scott Stevens to go down and commit a little bit. And that allows him to slide that puck over to Derek Smith. That's what makes the save even more impressive. You know, it's one thing the Capitals tell their defenseman on a 2-on-1, let the goaltender handle the shooter. And that's got to be what Pete Peters is looking at. But as soon as Pelle Eklund unloaded that puck, Pete Peters has got to be making the move over. And Eklund provided a perfect pass to where Smith could stride into it and make the shot off that one-timer. He didn't have to do anything other than that, other than to walk into it. That's how quick Pete Peters was in the net.
10:35 to go, second period. 5 seconds left in the Jay Wells penalty. The face-off in Washington ice, so Wells is due out of the box soon. Here he comes. Flyers are at full strength. Sheehy passes it ahead. Leach dumps it in. Ciccarelli, or rather Francis, get into the corner to Wickenheiser. Back of the net. Now Leach in there trying to scramble for it. The puck comes loose. It is played up the boards to Ron Sutter. Now out to Rick Tocchet. Tocchet throws it across the line, back inside the Washington end. And Rod Langway starts out. Here's Langway to Wickenheiser. Sends it all the way down. Icing is the call here against Washington. The faceoff returns to the Capital zone. It's about halfway through this game and halfway through the period. The shots on goal right now for this period, 5 for the Flyers and 6 for Washington.
About 27 minutes of ice time last night for Mark Howe. You're in a situation where you've got Howe with all that knee trouble we talked about. He still was out there for a considerable amount of time and seems to be getting that regular amount of time tonight and performing at such a great pace.
Out-of-town goaltending tonight, Peter Sidorkiewicz for Hartford against Patrick Waugh of Montreal. Clint Malarchuk in the nets for Buffalo at Boston against Andy Moog. Bob Froese for the Rangers and Tom Barrasso for Pittsburgh at Pacific Arena. Peters makes a stop and Langway clears it up the right wing boards now for Bob Gould. He brings it to Pivonka, right wing side, and a pretty nifty play by Gould to bring the puck inside the zone, but he was already across the line for the play called offside. Alain Chevrier for Chicago tonight against Detroit's Greg Steffen. Minnesota and St. Louis just underway, and Vancouver at Calgary later on.
Well, if you're looking for a big screen TV, there's no better name than Pioneer, and there's no better place to see Pioneer than at Alco TV and Appliances. In Alexandria, call 703-780-5180, or in Fredericksburg, call 703-373-1797. Pioneer Projection TVs from Alco TV and Appliances. The picture doesn't get any better than this.
Does it not get any better than that?
Imagine this guy's always got the vertical hole out of whack.
I think so.
Bob Scott. By the way, all those game statistic updates passed on to us from Jenny Murphy, who Julie Hensley in the Capitals office tells us is celebrating the birthday today. Is not telling us exact number of the birthday Jenny is celebrating. I understand it's getting up there in the 20s, but Jenny, you certainly don't look like you're up there in the 20s.
Still look a day over 14. That's correct. on the right wing is Tockett. His shot blocked, and Michael Pavanka moves it along now to Bobby Gould. Here's Gould to center ice. Puts it back inside. Philadelphia ice. Back of the net, Bob Gould. Works in the corner. It's played out to Tockett. He comes to center. And Stevens lines up top with a hit. Raises it. Hatcher moves the puck to center ice. Michael Pavanka to the line. Taken away by Sutter. And off the boards all the way back into the Washington zone. Scott Stevens out of the corner. Moves it ahead too far for John Druce. But Hextall plays it, so no icing. The puck cleared out to center ice. Now Hatcher dumps it back inside the Philadelphia end. On the left wing side, here comes Mike Bullard to the Washington line. Cutting in and firing off balance. The shot stopped by Pete Peters. The rebound is loose. Druce is able to dig it out of there and clears it to the point. Wells keeps it in. Now Peters is going to take a penalty here. Pete Peters leaned out and cuffed Mike Bullard with his stick, and Bullard skates away from him, keeping the Flyers on the power play. There's a break in the action. There's still no score.
I think they have the most beautiful produce sections of any stores in the area. I know that. Safeway's produce department reminds me of those country fairs we used to have at home where the farmers all brought their fresh produce in and they cleaned them with the garden hoses and had them on the little crates and stacked it. Everything looked so fresh and beautiful that you always wanted to pick everything you could and take it home with you. That's what it looks like.
Well, the Flyers will have the power play now as Pete Peters gets the call. It's going to be an interference call, and he really just gets in the way of Mike Bullard. Watch it as Bullard starts to make this move around. Watch Peters. Sticks his hip out a little bit, gets the stick out, and prevents Bullard from a chance at chasing down that loose puck. We'll cut interference call. John Druce will serve it for Pete Peters at 11:41.
This is exactly the other side of the call that we showed you earlier, where Peters was interfered with in the Washington goal, and this time Pete goes right back at one of the Flyers. And deserved the penalty. Flyers haven't had any success so far with a man advantage, not even a shot on goal. Langway quickly takes the draw and clears it all the way down.
So much of the attention as we focus now on Tim Kerr. Sheehy and Langway, the defensive duo out there. They're playing close eye to where Kerr sets up.
Flyers 1 for 5 last night with a man advantage. Miller breaks it up. Hextall comes all the way out of the goal. Clears it to center. Sheehy over to Langway. Out to center ice, and it's knocked down by Murphy. No score. 7:40 to play here in the second period of the game. Eklund over on the right point to Murphy. Goes into the corner. Brian Propp. Taken away by Dave Christian. Here comes Christian to center ice. At the blue line. Tied up by Murphy, and Hextall clears it all the way down. This is going to be played by Peters, so the icing's waved off. Quick pass out to Dave Christian. Flyers caught the line change. Christian in 1-on-2. And Philadelphia recovers, and here's Murphy ahead to Kerr. Let's see, he takes it over. That's to Christian at center ice. Bullard to Kerr. Back to Bullard. Tim Kerr centers, just misses Tockett, who was parked right in front. Now Wells back at the point. He feeds it over to Cartner. At the side of the net, Kerr takes it behind the goal. Finally, Gould steals and Christian clears. Cartner shoves it on into the corner. Kevin Hatcher winds it off the boards to the point. Penalty about to expire. Druce is out of the box. Now Washington is at full strength. Here's Cartner in the corner. Bullard up the boards. Hatcher over to Chase Mellenby. Back to Bullard behind the net. Stevens reaches for it. Bruce comes in with it. Here comes John Bruce carrying the puck to center ice. Bruce to the red line. Right wing side. Hatcher into the zone. To Gould. Drops it off. Gould a shot. Bruce the shot, and he fires wide. Just missing. John Bruce sending it wide of Hextall in the Philadelphia net. Now, Mike Ridley has a couple of Philadelphia players standing over it. And the whistle blows and play is stopped.
Both the Capitals and Flyers have had some scoring chances that have yet to get their way on the net. The latest just being John Bruce. Managed to get it just inside that post. Whistled it wide. Bobby Gould makes an excellent play, drives in, gets the commitment from Wells, and Bruce is positioned in that slot. Shot goes sailing past the outstretched glove of Ron Hextall. Shots are even at 12 apiece. 5:45 left to go in period 2. No score between the Caps and Flyers.
Mike Ridley ready to work against Ron Sutter. Cicerelli grabs the draw, back to the point, Rouse a shot. Hextall makes the save, the puck's loose, and Pavanka shoved it to the side of the net, just hitting the side of the Philadelphia goal. Now back comes Poulin. Inside Washington ice. Johansson works on him, and now Cicerelli is able to take charge. He brings it out to Mike Ridley. At the blue line, Samuelson poke checks the puck free. Johansson back to his own line. Here's Poulin to center. Brings it back into the Washington zone, and Calle Johansson starts out now for Washington. Johansson, the former Buffalo Sabre, long shot. Blazed that one right on net, but Hextall got his stick on it. Mark Howe, rink-wide pass for Rick Tocchet. Out to center ice. Langway dumps it back inside the Flyers zone. Late offside is now called by linesman Dan Shackey.
Caps with another good scoring opportunity, and again, a shot on goal. Looks like Hextall has got it. Then it comes loose. You see the drive coming in from Rouse. Now Hextall looks like he's got it for a second. But watch Michael Pavanka come sneaking in and poke his stick out and send the puck towards the net. But again, just bouncing itself wide of the net.
Wickenheiser ready to work the face-off here for Washington against Acton. Leach shoves it back inside the Flyers zone. Hit behind the net. Francis and Wells collide. Langway up the middle for Wickenheiser. He gives it to Leach. Steve Leach across the blue line. Out to center once again. And Sheehy fires it ahead, but the Flyers recover. Acton with Kerr. Inside the line is Acton. Langway chases him to the backboard. Here's Leach to come out. Wickenheiser to the blue line. Once again, Murphy takes it away. Here's Eklund. Taken away by Leach. Leach it ahead. Here's Hunter, a breakaway, in alone. And the whistle blows. The play was called offside. Well, now Hextall's getting upset. Kerr's getting upset. And I thought that Hunter showed remarkable restraint to not let that shot go. Hunter had come off the bench in the Washington line change and really could have been excused perhaps for taking a shot in those circumstances, but he did hear the whistle in the honest part of Dale Hunter, and there must be an honest part of him somewhere, even if a Flyer fan would admit that. Caps fans love him, but he did a very gracious thing here in not shooting the puck.
Hunter there, boy, that is a tough call.
Pretty close.
Right there with the skates on the line, that puck in. And now you see where Hunter's about to fire and just lets it go when he hears the whistle.
All he's doing is looking for the linesman there to make sure that it was an offside call. But instead, Hextall went after him. Let's check in downstairs now with Jeff Rimmer.
Thanks, Mike. Let's get everybody caught up to the board on our home team sports scoreboard. It is the Pittsburgh Penguins now in the second period, clinging to a 3-goal lead. Montreal ahead of Hartford in the second. These are all second period scores for that matter. Buffalo leading Boston in the second. Chicago ahead of Detroit. A first period score. Minnesota leading St. Louis by a score of 2-1. Let's go back upstairs to Mike and Al.
Thank you, Jeff. Well, they're calling it a two-line pass now, and the faceoff will come out to neutral ice toward the Washington side of center ice. So I think a correct call on Gerard Gauthier's part. Very difficult to tell from the angle we saw. Gauthier, of course, was right on the blue line.
Didn't that give you a chill for a moment, though? Thinking back to Game 7 last year.
Same net.
Same net, same guys. Almost identical situation in terms of where the pass coming from.
Here's Sutter to Tocchet. Taken away by Hatcher. He has a chance to spring Hunter again, but Hunter weaves the other way. The puck comes back inside the Flyer zone, and Chychrun is there. Chased by Courtnall. Chychrun off the boards and all the way back inside the Philadelphia zone. Now Hatcher steers it out into center. And Courtnall there to play it. Sutter ahead to Tocchet, taken away by Kevin Hatcher. He puts it back inside the Flyer zone. Mark Howe behind the net. Hunter knocks him down, and Hextall slashes out at Hunter with his goal stick. Gould trying to work it free. Stevens keeps it inside the line. Dale Hunter passes over to Courtnall, and it's taken away at the point. Ron Sutter pushes it to center, and Bob Rouse goes back to get it. Those are too far past Hunter and Courtnall, all the way back inside Philadelphia ice. Ciccarelli with a hit on Samuelson. He nailed him last night. Here comes Druce. Chased by Propp to the corner. Now Ciccarelli gets knocked down on a hit by Samuelson, and that was a legal hit. Ciccarelli twisted off his skate. That didn't look so legal. Back come the Flyers. Dumps into the Washington zone. Peters plays it off the board. At center ice, here's Propp to get it. I don't think Rob Schick saw the ladder play that we talked about with Samuelson and Ciccarelli. He was following the play that had started up ice.
I think Rob Schick has done an outstanding job so far tonight. Things have been called, I think, pretty much the way they've taken place. But this one is the one that he probably gets away from him. Samuelson gets one great clean shot on Ciccarelli. You see it coming up in here. Now that's legal. But then watch what happens when they come bouncing back up. Watch the way Samuelson will get the stick in there and twist Ciccarelli off his skates. Stick, arm, boom. Now that should be called. But I think to Rob Schick's credit, talk about the calls he's made, it really hasn't deterred from the intensity and the action of the game. It's been a terrifically paced hockey game.
He's done an outstanding job, Al, and I thought last night Don Koharski did a very good job of working that game, too. We've seen great officiating so far here in these two games. Kelly Miller to the corner, tied up by Murphy on the play. Jay Wells leads it ahead to Derek Smith. Now out to Mellinger. Drives it back into the Washington zone, and Langway has it behind the net. Michael Pavanka works to center ice. Bounces it to the side of the goal, and Murphy plays it up the board. Sheehy keeps it in. Pavanka back in the corner to Kelly Miller. A minute 24 to go, second period. Still no score. Sheehy at the right point. Taken away by Wells. Slashing against Hextall is the call. He had done it behind Rob Schick's back a couple of times, and this time the referee got him. Back-to-back penalties against goaltenders in this game. Pete Peters for interference moments ago, and now Hextall for slashing. Time of the penalty, 18:44.
this year, a new record for Ron Hextall. Of course, a new record for goaltenders. He's had 104 each of his first two previous years. Kept talking about how he wanted to cut down. It's just continue to increase. Hextall banging the stick, I think trying to get the attention of Rob Schick. Schick's not looking back at him. Face-off will be just around the red line. Hunter, Portnall, Cicerelli, Hatcher, and Stevens work the power play for the Capitals. Poulin to take the draw. Prop out there, Howe and Sanderson for Philadelphia.
Allenby serving the penalty. Prop brings the face-off back, and here's Shell Samuelson. Off the boards and all the way down the ice. Scott Stevens circles the goal. Up the center. Right wing side, Cicerelli. Throws it back into the corner. A minute to play in the period. Again, the Flyers do the clearing job. Kevin Hatcher. Flyers waiting on the Caps to come out. Nobody into forecheck. They line up right at the blue line as Hatcher walks in. Throws it to the corner. Hatcher hooked by Prop on the play. Here's Hunter. Digging his way in front. His backhand shot knocked down. The puck back to Scott Stevens. Stevens to Hatcher. Portnall a shot. He sends that wide. Now back to Scott Stevens. Back over to Hatcher. Stolen by Prop. And Hatcher gets it back. 10 seconds to go in the period. Dale Hunter. Left side for Stevens. Gives to Portnall. To the net. A shot and a goal! The Flyers have two arguments. Number one, they feel time has run out. And number two, they think that possibly Cicerelli kicked it in, but it did not look to be intentional. Let's examine the concerns one by one.
That's a goal. But remember, we're looking at replays. Rob Schick is not. He has got to make the gutsiest call.
Well, I don't think that Schick isn't tempted to turn around and look at the clock.
Well, he's making apparently the right one as long as he's willing by the clock. Another time, and you'll see it. In comes Cicerelli. Now I can see an argument here also. Seeing that in the replay, I could say the Flyers have got the first argument negated. That in terms of the clock, but boy, they should be upset because of the second one. Simply get on the replay, but again, this is where Rob Schick has to go by what he sees. If he's calling it that Cicerelli didn't kick it in, the Flyers have got a legitimate break. If he's saying it doesn't make any difference, Cicerelli's trying to apply the brakes, and it just goes off the skates incidentally, and the clock was okay, then he is right.
Here's a question for you. If a goal cannot be scored at the 20-minute mark, right? Correct. If it was scored at 19:59, why are we not facing off at center ice for that final second? What's the answer to that? They got to have that face-off.
You're right.
There's still 1 second left to play. Let's watch it again.
As we'll show you, the clock proves the puck is over the line before time expires, but is it kicked in? I think it's kicked in.
I think it went off his skate, but I think he was slamming on the brakes. You can see snow coming off his blade. I don't think that was a deliberate kick-in. That's my opinion.
So it's kicked in. Whether it's deliberate or not is up to the determination of Rob Schick, and Schick says no. As I said at first about the brakes coming on.
We'll be back with more hockey from the Capitol Center right after these messages on Home Team Sports.